7 swims in some of the most dangerous conditions known to man. Churning 10-foot waves, freezing cold water, powerful currents, whipping winds, poisonous jellyfish, sharks, and other creatures from the deep. These are the last places on Earth anyone would want to swim, but some brave souls do it anyway. This is the Ocean 7 Swimming Challenge. This is not for the faint of heart. With nearly 200 kilometers of swimming across the world's most dangerous ocean channels, the Ocean 7 is the swimming equivalent of the 7 Summits, a mountaineering challenge that conquers the tallest mountain on each continent. Swimmers hoping to complete the Ocean 7 must do solo, unassisted crossings of all 7 channels. Which of these swims is the most dangerous? Watch to the end of this video to find out. Only 21 people have completed the Ocean 7, according to OpenWaterpedia. To put that in perspective, many people consider completing just one of these swims to be an incredible lifetime achievement. To do all 7, that's a whole nother level, and it usually takes people years, if not decades, to check off every swim. And for every one person who has completed the Ocean 7, there are hundreds, if not thousands of people who have attempted these swims and were unsuccessful. The Ocean 7 requires incredible levels of mental and physical endurance, and the ability to withstand hours of cold and warm water, which has been deadly if you're not prepared. Weather conditions also vary widely between all of the swims, from intense currents and waves to jellyfish and dangerous boat traffic. It's not an easy undertaking by any means. Many athletes will train 1 or 2 years for a single swim, and it's not as easy as just building endurance and capacity. Swimmers must acclimate to the warm or cold conditions so they don't overheat or get hypothermia. And some of these crossings require a qualification swim to prove that you can handle such grueling conditions. There's also a lot of time spent refining a nutrition plan, which can make or break the swim. Plus, there's all the logistics involved with reserving a swimming date, hiring a pilot boat, and choosing a support crew. And these swims are not cheap. Depending on the cost of hiring a coach, reserving pilot boats, airfare, lodging, food, and gear for the trips, swimmers could spend upwards of $20,000 or more completing the Ocean 7. For that price tag, failing is costly. So all that said, let's take a look at these famous swims that have claimed many lives over the years, and we're gonna break down all 7 from the least to the most dangerous. Starting with the English Channel. While it's not easy by any means, the English Channel is first on our list. This swim is one of the most famous channel crossings in the world, with the most successful attempts of the 7. Swimmers cross 33.5 kilometers or about 21 miles between England and France, combating ships, cold water, waves, and jellyfish. The average crossing takes about 13 hours. The English Channel's current pushes swimmers in an S formation, pushing them up the channel for the first part of the swim, then down the channel for the second part. Depending on how well the swimmer does against the current, their swim could take as much or as long as they battle it out to keep moving forward. The water in the English Channel is about 62 degrees Fahrenheit, or 16 degrees Celsius on average. And the kicker? For your swim to be an official crossing, you can't wear a wetsuit. That applies to all the other Ocean 7 swims as well. Many swimmers bail out of their crossings due to hypothermia because the water is just that cold. Catalina Channel. Next, we're heading across the pond to California, United States. At 32 kilometers or 20 miles long, it's often compared to the English Channel. With similar distance and conditions, although the temperature is usually slightly warmer, in the mid 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The water temperature can drop by up to 10 degrees in the final few miles before the California coast, causing hypothermia to even the most experienced swimmers. Swimmers often begin this swim at midnight to avoid daytime wind conditions, which can be pretty nasty. Swimming in pitch black can be a very disorienting experience, with some swimmers reporting vertigo and nausea during this stage of their crossing. The Catalina Channel also has its fair share of currents, which are tough to predict. In some cases, strong currents have caused swimmers to stay in the water 50% longer than their predicted times. Crossing times range between 8 hours all the way up to 33 hours. And on top of that, swimmers may encounter marine life during their swim like jellyfish, sharks, dolphins, and even whales. The Strait of Gibraltar. The Strait of Gibraltar runs between Spain and Morocco, connecting the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean. Swimmers typically follow a 14.4-kilometer route for this swim, which is about 9 miles. Known for its intense currents, swimmers attempting the Strait of Gibraltar can experience average current speeds of up to 3 knots or 5.5 kilometers per hour. When paired with the windy conditions, that makes for a tough swim. The strait is one of the world's busiest shipping corridors, so swimmers can expect to be dodging boats in addition to the choppy waves. Because the weather can be so unpredictable, there are very few days when the conditions align for a safe crossing. To do this, swimmers usually are grouped together in groups of 4. They will all do solo crossings, but they have to stay within a few meters of each other. The average crossing time comes in at around 5 hours. Most people swim from Spain to Morocco to get a bit of assistance from the speedy current. But for those crazy swimmers who choose to cross the Strait of Gibraltar more than once in one go, they'll have to fight the current. Absolutely brutal. Compared to some of the other swims on this list, the Strait of Gibraltar is a highly regulated swim. All swims have to be completed during daylight hours, and there can only be one swim per day. The waiting list for a spot is often up to 2 years in advance. Next is the Cook Strait in New Zealand. Swimmers cover approximately 26 kilometers or 16 miles between New Zealand's North and South Islands, battling 3 currents to avoid getting swept out to sea. The water temperature ranges between 57 and 66 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's common to see great white sharks, dolphins, and jellyfish during the crossing. The water is often pretty choppy too, which can make it tough to maintain great technique. Many swimmers have reported getting nasty sunburns during this swim. Some people have even gotten second-degree burns. The record for the Cook Strait is about 4.5 hours, but many swimmers take much longer than that, sometimes up to 10 hours or more. The Molokai Channel. From the chilly waters of New Zealand, we're heading to the much more tropical waters of Hawaii. Coming in at 42 kilometers or 26 miles, the Molokai Channel, also called the Kaiwi or Channel of Bones, is one of the toughest swims on this list. According to the Molokai Channel Swimmers Association, about 70% of swimmers fail their first attempt at this crossing. The fastest swim ever recorded took about 12 hours, but many swimmers come in around 15 hours or more. This channel has wiped out ancient canoe fleets and swallowed modern fishermen and boaters as well. The Molokai Channel is known for large rolling swells, strong wind, and warm weather. Swells have been reported as high as 30 feet, and water temperatures range between 76 and 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Aside from the crazy conditions, swimmers also have to worry about jellyfish. The Molokai Channel is home to the Portuguese man of war, a jellyfish with long, poisonous tentacles that can shut down your organs if you get stung. Many swimmers have powered through their crossings after run-ins with the man of war, fighting back numbness and pain from the stings. They've also reported other marine life like great white sharks. The Tsugaru Channel in Japan is next up. This deep water channel swim goes between Honshu and Hokkaido. It's known for having an extremely strong current that flows from the Sea of Japan to the Pacific Ocean. Swells can reach up to 10 to 12 feet high. Swimmers who want to take on the epic currents choose a shorter 19.5 kilometer crossing, starting from Honshu's northernmost point, and that's about 12 miles. But if they can't power through the current, they will be pushed out of range for their finish in Hokkaido. Many swimmers choose a longer, more conservative route that starts further west, which allows them to take advantage of the current to push them towards the finish. It does add an extra 10 kilometers, but that's no big deal, right? Or is it? You tell me. The water can range between 62 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, not as chilly as some of the other swims on this list, but it gets tougher when you add in the rough conditions, including unpredictable tidal flows and strong winds. Plus, there's always a chance they'll encounter some sea life, anything from jellyfish and squids to sharks and sea snakes. Swimming time varies widely for this crossing due to different starting points, but the fastest crossing comes in at just over 6 hours, with many others taking 10 hours or more. Coming in at number 7 on our list is the North Channel. the toughest channel swim in the world. At 35 kilometers, the North Channel is a stretch of water between Ireland and Scotland. It's extremely difficult to predict weather conditions for the North Channel, and it can change very quickly. The water temperature is often close to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Swimmers can expect overcast weather, wind, and strong currents during this dangerous swim. And on the subject of currents, the currents in the North Channel are no joke. The tide runs north to south and changes every 6 hours. Swimmers need to be comfortable swimming across a current, and many report that the currents in the North Channel are unlike anything they've ever experienced. Depending on the strength of the currents on the day of your swim and your swimming speed, you could end up swimming 45 kilometers due to an extra push from the current. If the water is calm, you'll have to fight through large pods of jellyfish. This area is known to have a large population of lion's mane jellyfish, and these have a very painful sting. Depending on the tides, swimmers sometimes start in the dark, and a full crossing can take between 9 and 18 hours. I think we can all agree that the Ocean 7 is not for the faint of heart. Only the toughest athletes in the world will go down in history because, after all, finishing the 7 hardest swims in the world makes you a legend. Would you ever try the Ocean 7? Or do you think this is absolutely crazy? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And if you want a taste of what it's like to train for one of these epic swims, watch our video on the most dangerous swim in the world. It's a breakdown of the English Channel. Until next time, happy swimming!